Hello, my friends. Welcome back once again to the Morning Mindset. I am thankful you're here. Those of you who have been listening for months, for years, since the beginning of the show back in January of 2018, thank you. Thank you for being so faithful in your listening and for sharing the Morning Mindset with others. Those of you who haven't been listening for long, welcome. I'm glad you're here. I want to make you aware of a nonprofit that my wife and I have begun with the help of some friends called Not a Needy Person. This has flowed directly out of the interaction we've had with people who listen to the Morning Mindset. This is an opportunity for people in need to come to the website at notaneedyperson.org and submit their need for consideration. And for others who have the means and the resources to help with needs to come and to give toward meeting those needs. I think you'll see it's a very unique setup. Please check it out at notaneedyperson.org. Okay, today we are looking at Proverbs chapter 27, verse number 20. It's a verse that is very grim sounding and even could sound a little pessimistic, and perhaps it is. But we need to look at the realities of life as God looks at them. Proverbs 27:20 says, Sheol and Abaddon are never satisfied, and never satisfied are the eyes of man. Okay, well, we need to define some words here, don't we? Sheol and Abaddon are both Hebrew words. Sheol, though it is literally the place of the dead, is used to represent death or the grave. And so when he says Sheol is never satisfied, it's saying there's no end to people dying. Death is always going to be a reality on this fallen planet. The word Abaddon is a little more specific. It is considered to be the actual place of the dead, the pit to where people go when they die. And in Hebrew legend, there was even an angel of the abyss named Abaddon. And so these two words are being used kind of anachronistically to represent death, to represent the end of life. And it's saying death is never satisfied. And I think we all can attest to that. We've all lost people. We've all seen people die. We've all experienced the loss that comes from the continual loss of people to death. Now, Solomon is making that point to compare it to something else. And the something else he compares it to is something you may not off the top of your head immediately have had come to mind when you think of those two things. He says, and never satisfied are the eyes of man. So by comparing it, he's saying in the same way, just as death continues on and on and on and seems to be never satisfied taking the lives of people, in the same way, the eyes of man are never satisfied. Now, what does that phrase, the eyes of man, mean? Well, it's talking about a person's desires, a person's ambitions, a person's need and hunger and want. You see, all of those things rolled up into one ball is what the eyes of man is referring to. And so what's the point that Solomon's making here? He's wanting us as human beings, men and women, to understand that desires are always going to be with us. If one is fulfilled, for example, say you're thirsty and you get a cold glass of water and you drink it right down, that's great, but you're going to have some other desire crop up very soon. And even that desire will not be permanently satisfied. You're going to want water again very soon. You see, the point is that there are aspects of life where the need is temporarily met, and yet it's not fully satisfied. So why is it important for us to recognize this simple truth about life? Well, it's because we find ourselves often striving to get satisfaction in various areas, to have certain needs permanently met. And friends, that's an unrealistic expectation for this planet. The only place we will ever have things perfectly met is in heaven itself. And right now, we get a foretaste of that. We get a preview, so to speak, through our relationship with Jesus Christ. So friends, can I encourage you, no matter what your need is or the area where you're seeking to be satisfied, turn to Jesus to have that satisfied. I'm not saying food and drink, though we should depend on Him to be our provider. I'm saying for those desires of the heart, those desires for fulfillment and for satisfaction and for meaning, turn to Jesus. He's the only one who can satisfy the depths of the soul. Jesus, we ask you to be our satisfaction. We lean on you in faith to be our great reward, as the scripture says you are. Lord, fill us up with yourself, even in this fallen world.